First step would be learning Linux. Because Linux runs most of the operating system, that is the server operating system in the world. That's why being a DevOps starts always with learning how to use Linux. Get comfortable with what kind of operating system it is. Because most of this DevOps job will have to do with releasing the website or some kind of project online. So when that happens, most people prefer to use Linux servers only because it's free and open source. But there are some organizations which might use Windows or Mac OS in their architecture, but it's very rare that it might happen. That's why Linux is the standard way of production level servers. So that's why you need to learn Linux first. Get comfortable with how to install Linux in your operating system. Once you install it, explore it. How does it looks like, and what and all features it will have. How to install some kind of web server in it. Learn all these things up. So once you learn these basics of Linux, you will get comfortable and you will be able to start your DevOps journey very easily. So once you are comfortable with Linux, then second step would be to learn Linux terminal. That's the terminal app which is available in the Linux. So why do you think learning terminal is that much important whenever you are getting started with DevOps? Because most of the commands which you are going to run are going to be ran in the command line only. May that be some kind of command line in the browser, or it might be inside the terminal app in your computer only. But most of the commands are running on your command line only. So whenever you are deploying something, you will be using command line. Whenever you are releasing new kind of feature or some modification you have to do in the production level server, that time you have to go into terminal and you have to modify it. Whenever you want to see some kind of status of whether service is being released properly or whether there might be some kind of error is there, then usually you'll be using terminal only to get into the logs and understand and debug whatever the problem there might be. So being a DevOps, you need to know Linux terminal and you should be comfortable using it. I'm not telling you should become like really expert in bash scripting. I'm just telling you need to know how to use the terminal and you should be comfortable creating directories and using SSH. If you don't know what is SSH, so you don't have to worry about it. It's a way of connecting to a remote machine using your local terminal app in your laptop. So don't worry about it, but you will learn all these things when you are comfortable with the Linux terminal. Third method would be to understand how to code and how to run that particular code. So if you are new to this particular field, that is DevOps, then you might think that okay, you don't need to have any kind of coding experience. Yeah, that's true in certain level. For example, you don't need to be one pro web developer in order to get into DevOps, but basics of coding, everyone needs to know it. I think most people are already being taught it in the high school only, but if you are not able to learn it in that particular grade in your school or college, then obviously learning the basics of how does one computer program works and how to run certain program in your laptop is always going to be an added benefit for a DevOps. And also being DevOps means you need to know how to execute one program locally so that you'll be able to release it online and make sure it is available to customer properly. So learning how to code using maybe JavaScript or maybe Python would be an added benefit in it. It's not like you need to learn how to build one very large application in order to be a DevOps, but it's just that you need to know how to develop programs and how to execute them. I'm stressing out that execution part because, for example, if you are given task to release one Node.js website into the cloud, then obviously you need to know how to execute that Node.js program in your local laptop so that you'll be able to test it out that whether it works or not. So once you are confirmed that okay, it is working properly, then obviously your next step would be to make the pipeline so that it's going to go to maybe a testing server, then to the production server. But either way, you need to know how to execute the program in the first place. Maybe if the website or one API is in Python, then you need to know how to execute that particular Python file in your local laptop so that you can release it. So knowing how to execute code and a little bit of coding is requirement for being a DevOps. Fourth tip would be to get comfortable with the cloud technologies. So nowadays most of these DevOps tasks happen in the cloud only. There was time before when people had to physically set up the server and maintain it locally, but nowadays most of the companies use these cloud services in order to maybe release some project online, or to release or get access to some kind of API. So whenever that happens, you need to be comfortable with using cloud, and if company asks you to release one API to the cloud provider like AWS, so that time you need to know what and all services to use in that particular cloud provider, and how to release the application so that it has proper architecture for release and maybe continuous integration and delivery of the application online. So learning cloud also helps you to become a good DevOps engineer. When you are learning cloud, just make sure that you are aware about what service you are using and how much it actually costs. Because as a DevOps, you need to calculate the cost associated with the project which you are releasing. So that's why you need to be aware of that particular side of the things also. And final tip I would like to give you is there is almost no end to learning what and all you can learn as a DevOps. This particular roadmap is just for guiding you to get started in the DevOps. So learning each and every day and actually trying it out in your local laptop and demoing it for yourself is probably best way to learn and become a good at DevOps. So each and every day try to release some kind of project online or experiment with all these DevOps technologies. There are so many DevOps technologies which you might have to learn based on whatever the job or whatever your company demands you. So that's why you need to be ready to practice each and every day and learn new technologies so that you will be able to grow as a DevOps. And that's how most of these DevOps people learn how to be good at their tasks. So that's it for this video, guys. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and like this videos. So see you soon in the next video. Bye bye.